Have you struggled to make $100,000 in revenue per month from Google Ads? Most e-commerce businesses never get to six-figure months on Google Ads. And it's usually for some or all of the reasons I'm about to share with you today. I've been running a paid ads agency for over 10 years now. During this time, I have seen the same 6 problems come up again and again. When you know what these problems are and how to avoid them, you will unblock your Google Ads campaign, achieve faster growth, and get your first 6-figure revenue months. So if that sounds exciting to you, let's dive right in. All right, guys, so why your e-commerce Google Ads aren't generating 100K? It's because you're probably making some or all of these issues, some of these problems. Number 1, and I put this at number 1 for a good reason. I think this is the biggest issue that I see a lot of business owners really stumbling over, and that's the issue of not judging performance correctly. So you need to understand that poor judgment of performance leads to bad decisions. Bad decisions just kill your potential on Google Ads. So you really need to get the right eye and the right sort of frame of mind to be able to judge your results correctly and not make bad decisions. And one of the top things I can tell you is to not panic over short-term stuff. And we'll dive into this in a little bit more depth in just a moment. But like, for example, when you look at the day-by-day view, massive fluctuations are going to be normal. And that's just because that's how probability works. It's just random chance. So you need to understand probabilities, right? And you need to understand how conversion volumes relate to both probabilities and the way the machine learning algorithm works. And don't worry, I'm going to try and explain this a bit more for you to make this a bit more actionable. But for now, just understand that if you're looking at short-term data, if you're looking at daily fluctuations, then wide ranges of fluctuation is normal. Don't let that make you panic and make a poor short-term decision based on too little data. Always look at your conversion number. When you're looking at things in Google Ads, always have the conversion column there on your view and use that to guide you and tell you like how valid is this data that you're looking at. The smaller the number of conversions, the less valid the data, and the more likely it is that the data you're looking at is just that way because of random chance. And this is why I say understand probabilities. And I'm going to show you a fun thing here to try and maybe help you get in the right mindset of understanding probabilities and how it affects your ad campaigns. There's an entertainer, like a mentalist and mind magician in UK who I'm a big fan of. He's been around for years and years. If you're from the UK, you probably know Darren Brown, right? But he did this trick. It's not even a trick. He did this trick, which I'll just show you right here, which kind of helps you understand probabilities. Let's watch it.
Part of what makes the system seem...
Okay, so what he's telling you what he's about to do. He's going to take a coin, and no camera trickery. He's going to have multiple cameras looking at him. He's going to toss it 10 times in a row, and it's going to land heads every single time. And it's a fair coin, and like he's literally just going to do this.
under controlled conditions with multiple cameras that won't cut away, and it's a genuine coin with heads on one side and tails on the other. But I want you to watch this and try and work out how it can be possible, because the key to understanding this is the key to understanding the system. 10 heads in a row. Watch.
Okay, so he's thrown one head in a row, and then it's just an uncut video, multiple cameras, and at the end, he's got 10 heads in a row.
9 heads. Last one.
Won't make you watch the whole thing, but just take it from me. If you can watch the whole thing, the cameras were showing the whole time. He took a normal coin, he threw it 10 times in a row, and it landed heads. How did he do it? Now, if you understand probabilities and how they work, you can probably start to guess how this was done. And he actually tells you later in the show how this was done. Have a think about it for a moment. Can you figure it out? Okay, I'll show you the solution.
If you flip a coin thousands of times and record the results, somewhere along that line of heads and tails, a line of 10 heads is actually very likely to appear.
The solution is, he was like literally there 12 hours or something ridiculous like that, and he just kept on tossing the coin. He went to the camera, I'm going to toss this 10 times in a row heads, and then he tossed it, and then it kept on messing up. But when he did it thousands of times, this unlikely event, 10 heads in a row, suddenly becomes likely to happen if you toss the coin enough times. And what this tells you about probabilities is that when you're looking at really small data sets, when we just look at the camera clip where he just tossed it 10 times in a row heads, it's like, oh my god, this is a magic coin, it must land heads every single time. No, it's a normal coin that lands heads 50% of the time, but when you zoom out and look at a wider range of data, you see the true picture. Now, he tossed it thousands of times over the course of a day. If you added up all the heads and all the tails, then it would come very, very close to 50% heads, 50% tails. But when you zoom in and look at too little data, you might see 10 heads in a row. Oh my god, this coin is magic, it does 10 heads in a row. Same thing with your conversion data in Google Ads. When you look at the daily view, you're really zoomed in. You might be looking at 5 or 10 conversions and you might see, oh, it's got a great conversion rate, its ROAS is great, but it's a trick, it's not the truth. You need to zoom out and look at more conversions, more tosses of the coin to see the true picture, to see through the sort of mirage that weird probability stuff can sort of cast over your campaign. So that's what I mean by understanding probabilities and always looking at the conversion number. Now let's dive into this a bit more and make this a little bit more practical for you, okay? So let's look in a campaign and let's look at the last 7 days. And let's just take a look, right? Okay, in this particular account, our return on ad spend goal is 2.3. So we then might look at this campaign and go, oh no, the sky is falling, it's only 1.9. It's underperforming, do something. But hang on a second, we need to look at the conversion volume. And that's why I said always have the conversion column present when you're viewing your data in Google Ads. And when you look at the conversion volume, you see it's only 13 conversions. 13 conversions is not a lot. When we're looking at 13 conversions, it's kind of like we're looking at that zoomed in view where we only looked at the camera footage of him tossing heads 10 times in a row. Unlikely things can be very common when you're too zoomed in. You need to zoom out. So in the Darren Brown example, we zoomed out by watching actually the full camera footage of his whole day. In Google Ads, we zoom out by looking at longer date ranges. So past 30 days, that same campaign, now it's got 54 conversions, and you'll notice its ROAS is 2.4, above the target, right? So all we needed to do is widen our date range and look at a larger volume of conversions, and then we get a truer picture. And this is why I always talk about conversion thresholds. You want to be looking at batches of 50 to 100 or 200. More conversions, the better, really. And I've talked about conversion thresholds in terms of campaign structures before, but it goes to all levels in Google Ads. Like, for example, let's say we're going to look at our products. And let's say we look at this product here and we go, oh my god, it's a terrible product. It only has a 0.75 ROAS. It's really bad. Let's do something about it. Let's panic and change something. No, it's only got 0.82 conversions. That data is not statistically significant. You're too zoomed in. So what do you do in this case? Well, when you're looking at the campaign level, often what you can do is widen the date range. When you're looking at the product or keyword level, that doesn't always work. Like, we can widen the date range and then, the products, it's like some products have like 12 conversions, but we still get these products with low conversion volumes, right? And so that's why when we're looking at this kind of level, we want to roll up the conversion data. And when we're making big decisions about bid strategies and budgets, probably it's not even enough conversion data or spend at the product level to really make good decisions as to whether this is working or not. Instead, in this case, we would just need to zoom out and look at the campaign level. ROAS is 2.03, a little bit below our target, but not worryingly so, right? And any individual products in there with smaller conversion volumes, or just a handful of conversions, like they might be really high ROAS or might be really low ROAS, and that's probably just due to random chance and also due to algorithm learning periods, and we can't really consider that data. So I really want you to get this in your mind, guys, because this is the biggest stumbling block that I see when I talk to business owners, is they don't know how to judge performance correctly. And you judge performance correctly by always knowing what volume of conversions you're looking at and kind of really discounting the data. If you see bad ROAS or good ROAS, just discount that data. If the thing you're looking at only has 5 conversions or 10 conversions. Look for 50 conversions, look for 100 conversions. And if the view you're looking at right now doesn't have that number of conversions, then zoom out on the date range or zoom out to the campaign level or the ad group level instead of looking at the product or the keyword. All right, number 2, not managing bids and budgets correctly. This goes hand in hand with the previous issue, but if you're not judging performance correctly, you're probably also not managing your bids and budgets correctly. Another thing I talk a lot about on my channel, but you want to start in discovery mode with the bid strategies in your campaign. Discovery mode is usually going to be maximize conversion value, and you're going to have a low daily budget initially. Ideally, depending on the campaign type, you might be using maximize clicks. Standard shopping doesn't have maximize conversion value, which is annoying. But anyway, you start out in discovery mode, and during this time, you're just teaching the algorithm how to bid. You then move to a target ROAS, and make sure you have a good target ROAS that is actually profitable for you. Make sure you're judging the results correctly. And then once you're at your good target ROAS, you just want to make sure your lost impression share due to budget is 0. You don't want to be losing impression share due to budget when you're hitting a return on ad spend that is actually good for you. So once again, in the campaign, basically this column here, search lost IS due to budget, you want to see this on 0%. You can see like we're really close to 0. It's a bit of tweaking that needs to get that right down to 0. But essentially what you want is that your return on ad spend is on your target. That target is a profitable target, so it generates money for you. And assuming that is the case, you never want to be losing impression share due to budget, because that just means you're losing potential money, right? Like every dollar spent on ads is a dollar making money for you. Why would you not spend as many dollars as possible? And if you see more than 0% in this column, search lost IS due to budget, then you could just raise your budgets and make more money, right? So the only real reason, if you're in the game of profit maximizing, then the only real reason you want to be losing impression share is due to rank. And because the only way you can get rank up, the only way you can reduce the amount of impression share you're losing due to rank is to increase your bids, right? And to increase your bids, you need to lower your ROAS target, but you're already on the right ROAS target. So you want to be on the right ROAS target, and you don't want to be losing any impression share due to budget. And you need to understand learning periods, so don't go fiddling with your bids and budgets because you think the results are bad, but actually the machine was just in learning periods. It needs some time to learn. And you need to know how many conversions you're looking at. I'm just kind of repeating myself a little bit there. I already mentioned that in the previous point, but if you're looking at low conversion volume data sets, then you're not looking at a good amount of information, and so it would not be good to sort of change all your bids and budgets because of that view. All right, number 3 is not knowing how to prioritize in Google Ads, right? So you can waste a lot of time in Google Ads. It's possible to spend all day in Google Ads doing your negative keywords and doing keyword research and spending a lot of time crafting the perfect video and image assets in Performance Max, and if you did that, you'd be wasting your time, right? So another problem I see is that people spend the wrong amount of time in the wrong places in Google Ads. And a good example of this is negative keywords or assets in Performance Max, but there's loads of other examples. Like I talked to business owners who are running $20 million a year businesses, and they are personally spending 3 hours like a day on their negative keywords and fiddling with their assets in Performance Max. Now, if that's probably not you, that's like a really extreme example, but that is just a total mismatch of the value of their time. Their time is worth hundreds or thousands of dollars per hour, and they're spending all that time on a task that is worth a few bucks per hour. So don't do that, and don't be like, generally speaking, the value of negative keywords is a lot lower in Google Ads these days. And also assets in PMax, like your image assets, your video assets. Now I talk a lot about getting these right, and it is something you want to get right, but it's also not a high dollar per hour task, right? It's actually a fairly low dollar per hour task. And if you've only got 1 or 2 hours to spend on your Google Ads campaign because you're a busy business owner, you're running a business, and there's tons of other higher leverage things you can do, you really need to spend your time in the correct places. And so I would say spending your time in things like understanding the data, understanding how bid strategies work, understanding how probabilities work, what's a minimum threshold for statistically significant data, and understanding how the algorithm works. Like you could literally just go to the about smart bidding. This page from Google Ads will teach you a lot about how its automated bidding algorithm works, about creating portfolios, about maximize clicks, about target CPA, about target ROAS. Your time would be better spent reading every word of this than it would be doing hours of work on your negative keywords, for example. So this is a tough one to teach because it actually takes quite a few years to really know how to prioritize in Google Ads, and I do my best to teach it to you on this channel. But yeah, you can waste a lot of time in the wrong places if you don't know how to prioritize in Google Ads. And I could go into this topic a lot more. Let me know in the comments if you do want me to. But spending time on negative keywords is like a waste compared to spending time on just getting better at understanding data, bid strategies, probabilities, and the algorithm. Here's another big one. Your products might be too niche, right? So if the search volumes are just not there, you're never going to get there with Google Ads alone. I'm sorry to have to be the one to tell you that. Sometimes I see business owners struggling to get to 100K per month, but they've got this really niche product that not many people are searching for. And the thing to know about Google Ads is that you can only target people who are already searching for your thing, right? So if I am selling pop sockets, which is like kind of it's like an accessory for my iPhone. It's a stand for my iPhone, right? So I can only target people who are already searching for things like pop socket or stand for iPhone, right? I cannot target people who are searching for Singer soda drink, right? I just can't. You're limited to targeting the people who are already searching for your stuff. If there are not many people searching for your stuff, you're just never going to get there. And the only way to solve this is to widen your product list or to go after a top of funnel traffic source, right? So let me just give you an example, right? So this is a stainless steel portable pizza oven for gas with an oven shovel, right? It's a pizza oven kit. It's this thing here that you put on top of your outdoor grill or barbecue, and it turns your outdoor grill or barbecue into a pizza oven. And the thing to know about this is it's an incredibly niche product. If you are selling this product and only this product, you're never going to get to 100K per month revenue on Google Ads. I'm sorry. Sorry to be the one to break that to you if anyone here is selling pizza oven kits and was dying to get to 100K revenue on Google Ads. It's just never going to happen. And the reason is, let's come into Google Keyword Planner and you search for your keyword, pizza oven kits. This keyword gets 1,300 people searching for it per month. Now there's a couple of other keywords in here that are relevant. So this one, DIY pizza oven kit, pizza oven accessories kit. Like these ones here are actually something different. Outdoor pizza oven kit, that counts. So we can include that. We don't want to include that. I don't know what that is, but this looks like something else. So, but you want to get an estimate of your overall conversion volume for your products. And in this case, okay, 1,003, let's call it 3,000 searches for this product in the USA per month, okay? So 3,000 searches. And then let's just say average CTR of 3%. You might get higher, you might get lower, but let's just call it 3% CTR. That means if you show up all the time for those searches, you'll get 90 clicks per month. Now let's say your conversion rate is 3%. That means you're going to get 2.7 sales per month. You can see where I'm going with this, right? And then let's say your AOV, actually the AOV for that product was 75, I think. That was 97. Okay, so let's say your AOV is 97. So you're going to make $262 per month from Google Ads, there or thereabouts. It won't be precise, but it's not going to be $100,000. And if you have a product that is that niche and you're expecting to make $100,000, then your only solution is to either add more products to your list, bigger products with more searches, or go after top of funnel traffic sources. So what do I mean by top of funnel traffic sources? I mean Meta ads, I mean YouTube ads, I mean TikTok. Top of funnel means it's targeting basically anyone, really. Like on Meta ads, you're not limited to just targeting people who are already searching for your stuff. You can target, all men over the age of 35 if you want to, right? That's a much wider audience. So you might be limited by search volume, right? And if you are, you can figure it out. Like, you need to be getting searches somewhere in the range. Like, if these are your numbers, you probably need enough products and enough searches that your search volume is adding up to like 1 million. You see, like if these are your numbers, You need like 1 million searches per month to get close to 100k revenue, like, maybe 1.5 million, right? So you need like 1 to 1.5 million, right? But it's not 100% precise. This is just an estimate, right? Because maybe you get a better CTR, right? And maybe your conversion rate's a little bit better, and maybe also your AOV is a bit better, right? It's possible to get there on 500,000 searches, but it's not possible to get there on 3,000 searches. So this is not a precise calculator. Like, you need to use your own numbers, but this just gives you a sense of the range. If you're selling pizza oven kits and they get 3,000 searches, then you need to do something else to get to 100k. If you're selling iPhone accessories, now you're kind of cooking with fire, right? That easily adds up, right? These are all relevant, and that easily adds up. So you need to figure out what is like the search volume for your kind of products, and if it's really low, then you're just going to need to try something else to get to 100k. Not tracking conversions properly. So I see this surprisingly often, but what you just really need to make sure that your conversion tracking is correct. It's pulling revenue from your shopping cart, from the thank you page, and reporting that data into Google. All the stuff I said about conversion volumes and target ROAS, none of that applies if your conversion tracking isn't correct. So when you come into your conversions section in Google Ads, you want it to look something like this, meaning you have one primary purchase conversion action, and it's a website source primary conversion action. You want to see an accurate looking number of conversions there, and you want to see an accurate conversion value there. And if those numbers don't look right in your system, then you might not be tracking conversions correctly. It's absolutely fine to be importing your GA4 conversions, but you want to set them to secondary. You want your website conversion pixel to be primary, because as you can see here, it's always the case, the website pixel is going to track more conversions than Google Analytics, because Google Analytics is going to basically do multi-channel attribution, whereas the Google website pixel is going to tag every sale where Google Ads was involved in the customer journey, which is fine. That's actually what you want. You want Google Ads to be tracking as many conversions as possible, so it's got as much data as possible to optimize with. And GA4, fine, just set it to secondary, and these ones here in the example are just some older conversions that aren't actually working anymore. If you suspect your conversion tracking might not be correct, or you just want to check, what you need to do is install Google Tag Assistant Legacy, which is this bad boy up here. Google Tag Assistant Legacy extension for Chrome. Enable it. I'm already enabled, but normally you need to click enable there. And then what you can do is enable it, go to your website, complete a test sale. On the thank you page for your purchase, and on no other pages, right? You want to see the Google Ads conversion tracking tag here. So you should only see this on the thank you page. You get to the thank you page, you click here, and it will look something like this. And then you click on this little arrow here, and then you'll be able to see the revenue reported. And you want to make sure that the revenue reported on the tag is equal to the revenue of your actual test sale. And if any of that looks incorrect, then your conversion tracking is not right. And you want the conversion tag tracking tag here to be only on the thank you page, not on any other page. So you have to get this stuff right. Otherwise, you're just never going to be able to use smart bidding and all the awesome Google optimizations properly. Another issue I see is, and the final issue for the day, is not developing your campaign structure. Now, I talk about this in another video, which I shall link to up here. I talked about this in a recent video, but another issue I see is that people just start out, you're a busy e-commerce store business owner, you start out with a beginner campaign structure, which is fine in the beginning, and then you kind of get stuck and wonder why you can't scale. And it's often because you didn't develop your campaign structure from a beginner structure. Like a structure like this is fine to start with, but eventually as you grow and scale, and as you get more advanced, as you get more conversion data, you want to progress towards a pro level structure, maybe something a bit like this. Now, as I say, I got another video that I go into this in more depth, but if you're kind of like still stuck in beginner land with your account structure, then that could be the issue, or one of the many issues that could be blocking you from making those big months on Google Ads. So avoid this. Don't just be stuck in your beginner campaign structure forever. Develop the campaign structure, follow my stuff on YouTube. I teach a lot of this and do my best to just really guide you through the strategy here. But yeah, develop your structure. Make sure that you're using the right structure for your precise level of business and experience in Google Ads. By the way, guys, just wanted to take a brief moment to let you know about my free e-commerce Google Ads course. So I recently launched a totally free e-commerce Google Ads course that walks you through in depth how to launch and optimize your Google Ads campaign if you're just getting started out promoting your e-commerce store. Even if you're already up and running on Google Ads, there is some awesome stuff in this course that will help you optimize your campaigns better. So to get my free course, simply click the link in the description below this video. It's totally free. Just put your name and email into the little page there on my site. And in the course, I will walk you through the strategy I used to make over $100 million in revenue for my e-commerce clients. We'll cover the 3 key pillars of success in Google Ads. And I've even included step-by-step instructions on things like setting up your campaigns and conversions and all that lovely stuff. All right, back to the meat and potatoes of today's video. So that's what you need to avoid to ensure your e-commerce Google Ads goes all the way up to 100K per month in revenue and beyond. Now, another thing you need to do that I didn't have time to talk about today is to get the right structure in place for your Performance Max campaigns. If you want to learn how to do exactly that, check out this video right up here. In it, I break down my top 3 Performance Max campaign structures for e-commerce, and I teach you how to create a campaign structure that dominates Google Ads for you and your specific business.